Moments away from kickoff here in Glendale between the Titans and the Cardinals. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. Look at the head coaches, Mike Mularkey, his Titans tied at the top of the AFC South, and Bruce Arians, a 5-7 record. He's never lost back-to-back games at home in the same season since joining the Cardinals. Arizona lost last week here at home to the Rams. Arizona won the toss. They have elected to defer. So Adoree Jackson back deep to receive the kickoff from Phil Dawson. Week 14 of the NFL on CBS. We are underway in Arizona. And Jackson will take a knee. We'll go down to the field and check in with former Cardinals kicker Jay Feely.
Andrew, the Titans lead their division, yet they have a negative point differential this year. A lot of that success can be attributed to the defense, who will be without two key starters today. Daquan Jones, who was put on IR this week, and Derek Morgan, who made the trip, but is not going to play today. They do get some good news with Rashard Matthews back. The Cardinals beset by injuries. Carson Palmer, David Johnson out. They won't have Adrian Peterson.
Injury's been a big problem for Arizona this year, certainly a factor in their 5-7 record. Marcus Mariota under center on 1st down and 10 for Tennessee. And he pitches it to Derrick Henry. Henry on the right side, push back. Carlos Dansby, one of the first to bring down Derrick Henry, a loss of 3. Marcus Mariota last week, a touchdown pass and a touchdown run in the win over the Houston Texans. On the road this season, well, he's got 12 interceptions for the year. 9 have come away from home. A look at the offensive line. Taylor Lewan, a homecoming for him. Grew up in Cave Creek, Arizona. And as Jay mentioned, Rashard Matthews back in the lineup after missing the last 2 games. Titans keep it on the ground here on 2nd down. And again, Arizona is right there to make the stop. Kareem Martin for the Cardinals. It sets up 3rd and long. Arizona defensively, Corey Peters is inactive today, so he is not in the lineup, missing his 4th straight game with an ankle injury. But good news, Dayon Buchanan returns, and in the secondary, Budda Baker making his 4th start at strong safety. And there's defensive coordinator James Betcher for the Cardinals.
And this is exactly what Arizona's defense is built for. The spread offense with Matthews and Budda Baker. Those guys are ace players.
Mariota down the middle, and Taywan Taylor was not ready for it. Taylor had some space at midfield but could not connect, and a 3 and out by the Arizona defense.
When you are a young player, you're seeing all these looks for the first time. This ball is coming right at him. He overruns the ball. You're supposed to head up the seam and adjust to the football. The ball doesn't have to find you. You have to find the football.
Arizona's defense forced 3 and outs on 31% of opponents' possessions. That is the best mark in the NFL, and they start with 1 today. This is Golden on the return for the Cardinals, and hit hard at the 31-yard line. It was Darren Bates with the big tackle on special teams. Out comes Blaine Gabbert getting the start for Arizona, his 4th start for the Cardinals in his career. 7 NFL seasons, 44 touchdowns, 42 interceptions, and here's his season numbers. 7 years, 7 offensive coordinators for Blaine Gabbert. Gets good news at left tackle. Jared Veldier, questionable with an elbow injury. He will go, and Kerwin Williams makes the start for the injured Adrian Peterson. 1st down and 10 from the 31-yard line. And they started on the ground with Williams, who's met at the line of scrimmage by the Tennessee defense. Let's look at this Titans D, and a big change up front as Daquan Jones going to IR this week. Austin Johnson makes his 1st NFL start. Also at linebacker, Derek Morgan will not play. Eric Walden will take his place at outside linebacker. And Adoree Jackson, the rookie, 3rd in the NFL in snaps played this season under Dick LeBeau, now in his 59th year in the NFL. Gabbert, quick pass to Fitzgerald, makes the catch, but not much room to run, and that sets up 3rd and long for the Cardinals.
watch Gabbard as he's getting ready to call his plays, looking at that wristband. So you mentioned his fourth start. He has the offense down, but it's still in that newish stage, even though we talked to his head coach, and he felt like, Bruce Arians felt like he really picked it up well during the offseason. Playing during the season, a lot different than practices in May and June.
Cardinals 18th in the NFL on third downs this year, 3rd and 8. Pressure coming, Gabbard throws, and it is caught for a first down. Beautiful catch made by J.J. Nelson to move the chains.
When you see Blaine Gabbard in person, he looks like that quarterback from Central Casting, 6'4", 235 pounds, good-looking guy, rocket arm. He has all of that. That's why he was a first-round pick with the Jacksonville Jaguars back in 2011. So those things are there. And for Blaine Gabbard, this is an audition, not just for the Arizona Cardinals, but really league-wide. He had some success last year in San Francisco. He's trying to duplicate some of that success here with the Cardinals.
Picks up 12 on that third down play. 1st and 10 from the 46. It's Williams up the middle and Williams across midfield.
Now, one of the interesting things that we go through when we go to practice is we meet the players in person. And like Larry Fitzgerald walked in our meeting room, and you went, God, he's bigger than what I thought he was going to be. I saw Kerwin Williams on the field before the game. Boy, he's smaller than what I thought he was going to be. So, yeah, he's tiny and tough, and he can wiggle through those little holes.
Listed at 5'8", 198 pounds. The fourth-year man out of Utah State. 2nd down and 5. Back to Williams. Tripped up but stays on his feet. And that extra effort gives Arizona another first down. Cyprien on the stop, but a gain of 7.
One of the things that they teach you in Pop Warner football is to arm post. That means you're carrying the ball in one arm, and when you start to go down, you use that arm to kind of hand you to make as a third leg. So that keeps you off the ground, and he probably remembers that from his days when he first started carrying the ball when he was actually Pee-wee, and Pee-wee in size too.
There's Adrian Peterson watching, out for the 2nd straight game with a neck injury. First down and 10. Gabbard looks to go to the air. Cyprien coming, and Cyprien has the sack. First sack of the season for Jonathan Cyprien, the 3rd of his career.
Now, Jonathan Cyprien got that sack, but you got to credit it to Brian Orakpo. He's standing in the middle, and he's waiting right there. The quarterback can't throw the ball over him to get it to Larry Fitzgerald, and because of that, he has to pull it back down, and then it allows Cyprien to beat Kerwin Williams. Kerwin Williams got to stay up and block him right in the numbers. Can't go down for his legs.
You see Tennessee, a slow start in the sack department, but they have really come alive in their last 3 games, and Cyprien adds to the total on that first down play. Loss of 8 brings up 2nd and 18. Gabbard out of the shotgun. Pump fakes. Now he's going to try to keep it, and he's brought down on the play. It was David King, who also figures to see more reps today in the absence of Daquan Jones.
And remember, Bruce Arians talked about Blaine Gabbard when he gets flushed out of the pocket that he looks to run too often. That time they really closed in on him and he had no choice, but he's got to remember to look to throw the ball down the field.
3rd down and 15 for the Cardinals. Bruce Arians calls the plays for Arizona. See what he dials up here on 3rd and long.
We've got to check with Jay Feely to see where field goal range might be, because I don't see Jay trying to kick in the net yet.
Gabbard has time, throws, and it's incomplete. Off the hand of J.J. Nelson. It's 4th and long, and out comes the punter, Andy Lee.
J.J. Nelson tried to go down and post up right past the first down markers. But when you are 5'10", 160 pounds, it's hard for you to post up against that defensive back or the defender. They just kind of push you and swat you out of the way, and you're hand fighting for the ball. The officials aren't going to make a call at that point.
Adoree Jackson back deep to receive the punt from Lee. Overhand kick, bounces at the 12 and goes out of bounds inside the 10. No score, first quarter here in Arizona. 8:25 to go, opening quarter, no score between the Titans and Cardinals. Here, week 14 of the NFL on CBS. Tennessee's 2nd drive, they went 3 and out on their opening possession. DeMarco Murray, the running back, on 1st down and 10. It is Mariota throwing to Delaney Walker. Walker across the 15 and reaches out for a Tennessee first down. A gain of 12 for the veteran tight end. Don't forget Thursday, Denver takes on Indianapolis. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video.
We had our first run, pass option. You fake the run, fake the pass, then you throw another pass outside to Delaney Walker.
7:45 to go, opening quarter. Mariota throwing, and Eric Decker makes a great grab at the 35-yard line. A gain of 15 for Decker. It was Patrick Peterson on the coverage.
Eric Decker, it seems like he's been around longer than what he has, but he had 2,000-yard seasons with Denver with Peyton Manning and another 1,000-yard season with the Jets. Not a ton of separation there, and a really accurate pass by Marcus Mariota against Patrick Peterson. Somebody who you thought in the films, we don't want to throw in his area too often.
That moves the Titans out to the 36-yard line. Play action. Mariota, he's going to take it himself up the middle and slides down across the 40.
Mentioned Eric Decker and a lot of new receivers on this roster. Eric Decker came over as a free agent. Take a guy in the first round and a speedster in the third round. The production for the young guys, it's always iffy when you come from Western Michigan or Western Carolina. Eric Decker was the kind of the prize guy, and he's been able to step up when Corey Davis or Rashad Matthews have been in the lineup.
Second down and 6. Mariota keeps it himself, has the first down. He's hit hard by Antoine Buffet. Ball came out, but Mariota was down, and he picks up the first down despite taking that big hit, a gain of 8.
And a designed quarterback run, and at the end, a non-quarterback slide soon enough. And you can't throw a flag on that. He didn't commit. We talked to Mariota about that, and a lot of quarterbacks will talk about that hit, that vicious hit that Joe Flacco took, and they say, I don't know if I want to slide, if I want to dive forward. What's really safer for me?
There's Derrick Henry, nowhere to go. Chandler Jones getting in the backfield to make the stop.
Chandler Jones has that rare first step quickness where he just burst off the line. Delaney Walker's kind of bluff block him to make him think that, well, I'm going to block you, but then I go outside. He says, okay, I don't care if you're going to bluff me. I know I'm committed to the backfield on this play. I know what my defensive call is. It's to cause havoc. He did that. -4 on first down.
Jones leads the NFL. That's his 22nd tackle for a loss. Mariota in trouble, and down he goes. Olsen Pierre, the first-year player out of Miami, give him 4.5 sacks now on the season.
And that's about coverage on the back end. Mariota has time in the pocket, pumps, looks, tries to find a secondary receiver, thinks about the third receiver. Once you start thinking about the third receiver, you better have great pass protection, but they wrecked the pocket that time.
A loss of 6, it's 3rd and 20. For Tennessee this year on 3rd and 10 or more, they only converted 18%, which is below the league average of 19%. 3 on the play clock. Mariota out of the shotgun. Dumps it down to DeMarco Murray at the 40, and Murray is tackled well short of a first down. And for the second time today, out comes Brett Kern, the Titans punter.
And that's obviously the smart play on 3rd and 20. You don't want to risk a down the field throw when you have a punter coming on who averages 51 yards per punt. So he can flip the field. This ball should be back inside the 10 if he's going to do what he has been doing all season long.
Kern leads the NFL in average and net, having a Pro Bowl type season now in his 9th year with the Titans. Britton Coleman is back deep. This is a wobbler that bounces at the 21 and out of bounds. Not Kern's best. 3:43 to go, first quarter, still no score.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. And by the all-new Accord from Honda.
Larry Fitzgerald and Eli Manning won the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award last year. The award recognizes NFL players who have made a significant impact both on the game and in their communities. This year's nominee for the Titans is Wesley Woodyard, and for the Cardinals, it's Patrick Peterson. This year's winner will be announced at NFL Honors the night before Super Bowl 52. To learn about all of this year's nominees, visit NFL.com/Man of the Year. Woodyard having a great season, leads Tennessee in tackles, and Patrick Peterson, Pro Bowl every year of his career. 3:43 to go in the opening quarter. Still no score here in Arizona. Kerwin Williams starts this drive on the ground. Jonathan Cyprien makes the tackle. A rarity to have the roof open here in Glendale. Just the second time this season the roof has been open. The other time was a night game against Seattle. All time with the roof open, Arizona is 15-12. This beautiful stadium, which opened in 2006. Gabbert to the air on second down, and it's incomplete. Looking for Ricky Seals-Jones. Adoree Jackson was back there for Tennessee.
And Ricky Seals-Jones and Blaine Gabbert are making eye contact, going like, I thought it was supposed to be flat. And Blaine Gabbert's thinking, I thought you were going to go high. When we talked to Bruce Arians, he said, you know, that chemistry that you try and build with the guy, he said he had it with Ricky Seals-Jones because they had been on the scout team. They had been the other team's quarterback and the other team's tight end. And the other receivers he didn't have that chemistry with, so that was unexpected for those two not to be on the same page on that last play.
3rd down and 7. Gabbert with pressure coming, and Gabbert goes down. Second sack today for the Tennessee defense. Give this one to Eric Walden. He now has 4 on the year.
You know, it locked down. The 3 receivers that were out in the pattern were all covered, and just so much pressure. You're bringing 5, you're scrambling guys. Eric Walden, a 10-year veteran. He's been around, he's been on 6 different teams. He has 35 career sacks. So everywhere he goes, special teams, he's got backup pass rush.
Lee punting, a good one to Adoree Jackson, who waits for it at his own 28. A flag is down. Jackson trying to reverse field, stays on his feet. Jackson out of bounds at the 46-yard line. A 17-yard return, but we await our first penalty of the day with our referee, Jerome Boger. There's also an injured Cardinal down behind the play. It's Gabe Martin, the second-year man out of Bowling Green.
Looks like he's grabbing his lower right leg. Hamstring injuries. You know, it's been warm here, and you're running full speed and change direction. We've watched Adoree Jackson. It seems like about every other punt return, they get a flag on for him.
Receiving team, the inside, the defender who was holding the inside gunner. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Tennessee keeps the ball. First down, timeout.
So we'll step aside with 2:17 to go in the first quarter. First time the Titans have ever played in this stadium. They're the last team in the NFL to make an appearance at University of Phoenix Stadium. Last time they played in Arizona was 2005, and this stadium opened 1 year later. Late stages of the opening quarter, no score between the first place Titans and the Cardinals. Mariota 3 out of 4 for 33 yards in the opening quarter. Hands it off to DeMarco Murray, who makes a couple of nice moves. And DeMarco Murray breaks free. Penalty flag is down. Murray still going, following his blocks. And finally, Chandler Jones catches up to him, but we await the penalty, which was thrown mid-run.
during the run, holding, offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That's on their excellent right tackle, Jack Conklin, just his second hold of the season and negates a 54-yard run.
And remember that little jump cut? Well, once that happens and you're driving your guy to the ground, he has Deion Buchanan, who's not a big guy. And so he's trying to tell him and send him a message. Hey, you only weigh 211 pounds. You want to mess around here up near the line of scrimmage, I'm going to wear you out. And he drives him down. And sometimes when you just drive somebody down and throw them on their back, you get called for holding. If he just blocks them and runs his feet, lets them go, it had no effect on the run at all. Buchanan wasn't going to get off. He wasn't going to be able to get to the runner. So it's such a disheartening play for the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee has done a good job this year in the penalty department, just 69 coming in, the fourth fewest in the NFL. That was a costly one as the ball is moved back to the 16-yard line. Henry comes in. It's a quick pass from Mariota to Rashard Matthews, and he is spun down for a loss of 1 as we go down to Jay Feely.
You know, after that last series, Marcus Mariota took some shots. He went to the sideline, had the trainers check on his left knee, did 5 dropbacks to test that knee. He was obviously in a little bit of discomfort on the sideline, something that bears watching.
I'll tell you something else that bears watching. Taylor Lewan was out on the left flank, and he limped back to the huddle. So I keep my eyes on him the next couple of plays to see if he can shake off whatever injury he has.
Actually gave Matthews a 1-yard gain on the play, second down and 9, and here is Murray across the 20. It brings up third down inside the final minute of the first quarter.
It's interesting, we had the Titans, they're going toward hurry up. They've got too many guys on the field, so they got me a free play.
Arizona had a ton of guys on the field. Flag is down. They just try to take a shot to Corey Davis, but great job by Mariota to get the Titans to the line and snap that football.
And the rule there is if the offense substitutes, they're going to hold it until the defense can make a matching
12 men on the field. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
But there was no substitution by the offense. The Arizona Cardinals were trying to get some of the guys who were tired, who had chased DeMarco Murray down the field a couple of plays ago, off the field. They just did not get off the field quickly enough. Like I said, there was no substitution by Tennessee's sideline.
That penalty actually gives Tennessee a first down. They announced third down in the stadium here, but because of the penalty, they moved the chains. First down and 10 with 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Murray up the middle across the 30, and Murray keeps turning those legs out to the 33-yard line.
You know, when you think about these two running backs that the Tennessee Titans have, I always hear that term, two-headed monsters. I don't like that. I think they just have two monsters. One is real big, Derrick Henry. The other one, like Marcus Mariota said, he is really a tough and a mean runner. Talking about DeMarco Murray, you saw him push that pile right there. There's nothing but dark color. He pushed it for 7 yards.
That's the end of the first quarter with no score here in Glendale between the Titans and the Cardinals.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pepsi, welcoming you to the fun doesn't end zone. And by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Beautiful day here in Arizona. Start of the second quarter with James Lofton, Jay Feely, our entire crew. I'm Andrew Catalan. The Titans have the ball at their own 33-yard line. It'll be second down and 4 to open up this quarter. Tennessee has won 6 of its last 7 games. They are currently the number 3 seed in the AFC playoffs. Cardinals with just 16 yards of offense in the first quarter. This is DeMarco Murray, and he's tackled at the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down. Buda Baker coming up to make that tackle, the rookie out of Washington.
You know, Andrew, you talked about Tennessee being the number 3 seed. You know, they realize they're in first place. They also realize their record is the same as the Jacksonville Jaguars. So as they're playing, you know, we talked to the players, they said, sure, sometimes you sit on that sideline and you look around the stadium to see what the score is in other games around the league. So they have their eye on what Jacksonville's doing all the time.
Delaney Walker said he absolutely watches the scoreboard. Jacksonville playing Seattle right now. 3rd down and 3. Mariota, plenty of time, looking deep for Davis, and it's broken up. Antoine Bethea getting back there to get a hand on it, and now he is still down on the ground, and his teammates calling for the training staff to come out.
Great pass protection, but Marcus Mariota has to be able to anticipate this throw. See how that throw ended up on the sideline? Davis made his break all the way inside the numbers, so have some anticipation, read the coverage a little better, and anticipate that throw, because you have a wide open receiver.
Tennessee is now 0 for 3 on 3rd downs in this half. Great punt by Kern. Out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. You're watching the NFL on CBS. No score early in the 2nd quarter here in Glendale, Arizona, and the Cardinals, after a great punt by Kern of 54 yards, will start this drive at the 11-yard line. Gabbert completes this one to his tight end Troy Nicholas, who slips a tackle and then brought down at the 18. Well, it's been an uneven season for the Arizona Cardinals. Their star running back David Johnson injured week 1, placed on injured reserve. Started 3-3, traded for Adrian Peterson, but then week 7 Carson Palmer broke his arm. Big loss against the Rams. Arizona's had 2 different starting quarterbacks since then. They've gone 2-3 over that span, with Blaine Gabbert now the 3rd starter this year behind Palmer and Drew Stanton. Stanton the backup today. Matt Barkley is inactive. Erwin Williams is thrown down. Wesley Woodyard, one of the first to get there for the Titans.
That injury to David Johnson in week 1 took the designs off of this Arizona Cardinals offense. You were talking about a running back that you figured, there's David Johnson, figured we have 1,000 yards rushing, and then the whispers were that 1,000 yards receiving, something that Roger Craig did a number of years ago. Marshall Faulk also did it, but you were talking about a 1,000 guy, and then you take that out of the offense, and all the air just went out of the sail for a couple of weeks. Adrian Peterson comes in, then Carson Palmer gets hurt. It's been a rough year in the training room for the Cardinals.
On 3rd down and 3, Gabbert flushed out, chased by King. There's a flag down. Gabbert is out of bounds before the 1st down marker. And now we'll see what the penalty flag is. It looks to be holding against the Cardinals.
4th down, no way you give them another crack at 3rd down.
Holding, offense, number 68. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
It's on the left tackle, Jared Veldier. And out comes Andy Lee for the 3rd time in the half.
And once again, don't blame Jared Veldier. When Blaine Gabbert runs out of the pocket in this direction, you're going to hold, because you have your guy grabbed but in position.
Short kick by Lee, bounces at the 45 and then rolls out toward midfield. But the Titans will have great field position to start this next drive. Just a 33-yard punt. Last time these two teams met, 2013 in Nashville, game tied late in overtime. Jay Feely, a 41-yard field goal to win the game for the Cardinals, 37-34. That was the last time they met. And now their next meeting, Jay is here again, but this time in a CBS jacket instead of his jersey.
I noticed that he didn't have on any sleeves. He's showing those big guns in the cold weather.
Yeah, you got to try and be tough. James, you were tough when you were a receiver.
Yeah, you and I were both fake tough. We know.
That's right.
Great field position for Tennessee to start this drive from midfield. 12:18 to go in the 1st half. Mariota throws it incomplete off the right hand of Philip Supernaw at 2nd down.
You know, that was one of those shot plays. They didn't just get a turnover, but you had a short punt. So it's kind of like that sudden change mentality. And offensive coordinator Terry Robisky, he ran Eric Decker deep, and behind him on the corner route, he went Delaney Walker. Well, they were covered and matched up really well by the Arizona Cardinals secondary.
You saw the score. Jacksonville has kicked a field goal. They lead Seattle 3-0. A game of great importance to Titans fans. With the Titans and Jags tied atop the division at 8-4. There's Henry. Henry lowers his shoulder, and he picks up 9 yards. Buda Baker makes the tackle. It's 3rd and short.
It's always interesting when you hear a teammate's assessment of another teammate's. And Marcus Mariota about Derrick Henry said he should be playing linebacker. Just flat out, he should be a big linebacker. 6'3", 247 pounds. He scares defensive backs. So the defensive backs are really thankful when the linebackers tackle him. Because if he gets into that secondary, not only does he have the speed, but he can also wiggle and make you miss.
Robert Kindici comes on the field for the Cardinals for this 3rd down and 1. And Henry has the 1st down. Needed a half a yard and he got 1. That's the first 3rd down conversion that Tennessee has had today. Last week, Henry, 75-yard touchdown run, and he reached a speed of 21 miles per hour, which is the 4th fastest of any ball carrier this year. Not bad for a guy who's 247 pounds.
I saw him on the field before the game. I said, I think you're only going about 19 miles an hour. He looked down at me and said, no, it was faster than that.
Taylor Lewan is leaving the field into the Tennessee locker room as Henry has the carry and a flag is down. But Lewan, as you see him leaving right now, we saw him get shaken up before.
Defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
Kareem Martin offside for the Cardinals.
You know, sometimes you think about adjustments that you have to make when a running back goes out or your starting wide receiver goes out. When your left tackle goes out, a player that you sit over there and go, okay, you can block whoever they throw at you and you need no help. Now that changes. So we'll see in passing situations where there'll probably be a tight end on that side or the running back on that side. This time, both the tight end and the running back on the left side.
Dennis Kelly at left tackle. Mariota to the air, and that pass is caught by Delaney Walker, who's dragged down from behind by Baker, but not before Walker picks up 9 yards and a 1st down.
There are some players who are like dartboards. Anything that you throw to them is going to stick. And Marcus Mariota made that comment about Delaney Walker. I can just throw the ball anywhere around him, and I know he's going to come up with it. This is a good catch, but great coverage by Buda Baker. But you throw it to Delaney Walker, and he's a hands catch guy, not a body catch guy.
3rd in the NFL among tight ends in receptions and receiving yards. 1st down and 10. Mariota looking end zone for Davis. It's incomplete. Coverage on the play by Peterson.
Peterson is going, I kind of like this football. They're throwing the ball in my direction. That means I'm going to have some opportunities. You can see how tight the coverage is. And Peterson, who had his eyes on the quarterback in zone coverage doesn't mean that you lag off your man. But once somebody comes into your zone, you latch on them. That's exactly what Peterson did right there.
Let's go down to Jay Feely.
Andrew, left tackle Taylor Lewan went to the locker room with a back injury, questionable to return. Dennis Kelly, number 71, takes over.
All right, Jay, on 2nd and 10. Mariota, how about this play? Hands it off to Murray. Murray trying to reverse field, and Olsen Pierre jumps on top of him for the tackle. Now, the good news, if there is some, for the Titans temporarily losing Lewan, is that Dennis Kelly does play a lot. The Titans have used 6 offensive linemen on 79 plays this year. That's 3rd most in the NFL, and it's typically Kelly who's that extra O lineman.
It's nice when you have an extra alignment like Kelly, but in Taylor Lewan's assessment of himself is I'm the best offensive lineman in the league. So it's a step down. And right now, you do have the running back on that side to help out against Chandler Jones.
3rd down and 9. Mariota to Decker. He's got the 1st down. Inside the 15, Tyrann Mathieu on the tackle. But a good drive here by the Titans. They add 12 more yards on.
And Eric Decker just quick enough out of the break. 6'3", 215 pounds. He's going down the field. And he's going to break to the outside. Tyrann Matthews is trying to be cool and act like, I don't have you man-to-man. Yes, you do have a man-to-man. Drives on the ball, but a nice in and out of the break and an on-time throw of Marcus Mariota.
Mariota's been money in his career in the red zone. 37 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. Henry at the 10, and Henry is brought down at the 7. Buda Baker makes another tackle.
You know, you have a running back on the other side like Kerwin Williams, who's 5'8", 196 pounds, and it's instant speed. Derrick Henry is like that big 18-wheeler that you see on the highway. He's going fast. He's going 65 miles an hour, the speed limit, but he's so big you don't realize how fast he's going until he goes right by you, and in the case on the football field, when he goes right over you. Hey, we're going to 36.
2nd and 2. Henry, left side. He's got some space at the 5. Dives to the pylon, and he's in. Touchdown, Henry. His 5th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Titans are on the board with 7:16 to go in the second quarter.
And exactly all the elements I was talking about, the size to kind of stiff arm Patrick Peterson, the speed to get around the corner. Patrick Peterson, probably, he's a 4.35 40 guy. And now you take Derrick Henry, who weighs 247 pounds, and he has the speed to turn the corner and the agility to make the dive for the pylon. You always got to be careful that you have that ball, because if you lose the ball and it goes into and out of the end zone, it's a touchback.
Henry matches his rushing touchdown total from his rookie year last season with now 5 in 2017.
And as we watch the replay of this, we're going to look as he extends the ball. Does that ball come loose before it touches the pylon? If it does, like I said, it would be a touchback because it went through the end zone.
It has not been confirmed in replay yet.
See, in that instance right there that we're looking at, it looks like he still has the ball firmly in his hands as he gets to that pylon. But it is so dicey that as a running back coach, Sylvester Croom, or as the offensive coordinator, Terry Robisky, hey, give me the ball on the half-yard line if you're going to take that big of a gamble. But players, and this goes back to Chris Carter, great wide receiver with the Minnesota Vikings, who had the ability to stretch that ball out. It was kind of one of the first players to do it a lot. Now we see players do it on a regular basis. We see Russell Wilson when he's scrambling down the sideline to stick the ball forward to get as many yards as he can out of it. And Derrick Henry right there, I think he's in bounds, and I believe he has control, so it should be a touchdown.
If it stands, it would be the 17th rushing touchdown of the year for the Titans as a team, 2nd most in the NFL, behind the New Orleans Saints.
And on the flip side, the Arizona Cardinals have 5 rushing touchdowns. We talked about the loss of their great running back, David Johnson. You know, that's where they're deficient this year.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands. Touchdown.
Tennessee this year, when scoring first, they are 6-0, and they have scored first here today.
6-0 with the score, or
no? 6-0 record.
Okay, I got you. You know, you got to break these things down for me.
You're always breaking them down for me. Here's Ryan Suckup for the extra point. He's only missed 1 this season. And the kick is good. So with 7:16 to go in the first half, the Titans are on the board. Henry for 6.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. Sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager. AT&T. And by Macy's.
Just a gorgeous day here in Arizona, where the Titans have taken a 7-0 lead thanks to the touchdown run from Derrick Henry. Ryan Suckup will kick it away, and the Cardinals will try to get their offense going. They only have 21 yards of offense here in the first half. Foster from his own 2. Foster is tackled shy of the 15-yard line. Tonight, he is one of the most dangerous occupations in the world, running for president against Vladimir Putin. Plus, one of Hollywood's most famous leading men talks about not fitting in. Tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS. Last 7 plays for the Cardinals have resulted in a grand total of 0 yards. They'll start this drive at their own 15-yard line. Gabbert's 3 out of 5 for 20 yards. Here comes the pressure, and for the 4th time today, the Titans have a sack. This one to Jarrell Casey, who appears to have been shaken up on that play as he runs off the field holding his hand. 4th sack of the year for Casey.
You're getting pressure right away. Sometimes the offensive linemen, they need play action, because you're saying we're going to run, but we're really going to pass. When you just drop back and pass, these offensive linemen set, and these defensive linemen who get off the ball so quickly, it's hard to stop them.
So Casey is off right now. Tennessee's already matched its sack total from last week's game against Houston. 2nd and 17. Here is Williams. Williams with a stiff arm on Adoree Jackson, and they shoved out of bounds by Eric Walden. It'll be 3rd down and long.
You had a chance a couple of times to make the play here. Eric Walden kind of squeezes it down just a little too much. He has to keep the outside leverage, and then a nice stiff arm at the end on Adoree Jackson.
Cardinals now faced with 3rd down and 10 as Casey continues to receive treatment on the sideline. David King, who is credited with a sack here in the first half, has taken his place on the field. 3 on the play clock. Gabbert. Quick throw, and it's caught for a first down by J.J. Nelson. Sean Sims on the coverage, and you saw Casey running back out of the field. That's a good sign for Tennessee, but it's a first down for Arizona after a gain of 14.
That's the second 12, 13-yard out that J.J. Nelson has caught. And you say to yourself, well, why doesn't the defensive back get up on him and guard him a little closer? Well, at the Combine in 2015, J.J. Nelson ran 4.28 in the 40. That says back up right away.
2nd catch today. And here's Foster. He takes it out to the 34-yard line. Coming up in the Verizon halftime report, we'll send you back to our New York studio with scores and highlights. Our guys will bring them to you coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Just going back to the Nelson catch. Since Gabbert entered as a starter, he targeted Nelson 15 times and only 4 catches for Nelson. So those two had struggled to get on the same page, but today a good start for Gabbert and Nelson. 2nd down and 5, inside 5 minutes to go first half. Gabbert to Larry Fitzgerald, juggled and caught. Tackle made by Logan Ryan, but it's another first down, a gain of 8 for Fitzgerald.
When you have a speed receiver like J.J. Nelson, it's hard to get your timing with him sometimes, but a guy like Larry Fitzgerald, who is a really, really precise route runner, and plus if you throw the ball anywhere close, that may be one of the few passes I've ever seen Larry Fitzgerald juggle. I know this season on 84 catchable balls, he caught 82 of them coming into the game.
He needs 15 yards to pass Randy Moss for 3rd all-time in NFL history. Gabbert must go back to the air. This pass is incomplete, intended for Nicholas. Woodyard had the tight coverage for the Titans.
You just got a crossing route with your tight end. You'd like to get it out in front of him, but it's such tight coverage. You get it out, and is there a little tugging going on there? Maybe a little bit of tugging, but there's no flag. And trust me, defensive players, when they finish a play like that, out of the corner of their eye with their peripheral vision, They're looking to see if they see that yellow flag coming from center field.
Chess match between Bruce Arians and Dick LeBeau, the Titans defensive coordinator. 2nd down and 10. 7th play of the drive for Arizona. Here's Foster, and he meets Austin Johnson. Well, the Titans are really going to rely on Austin Johnson down the stretch this year. As Brian Arakpo told us yesterday, losing Daquan Jones was a big blow for this defense. It'll be Johnson taking his place, and he looks good here on this tackle.
And when you are a good team, you draft where your strengths are. And Austin Johnson, the 2nd-round pick out of Penn State last year. So you drafted a good player, even though he came in as a backup player and had been a backup until today for a whole year and a year and 3 quarters. You want him to be able to play well when he steps on the field.
3rd down and 8. Gabbard over the middle, too high and incomplete. Jerron Brown had a step, but Gabbard could not connect with him, and out comes the punter, Andy Lee.
So far, how many sacks have we had by the Tennessee Titans, Andrew?
4.
4. That was I've been sacked 4 times already throw. Threw it a little early, a little hard, a little off target to a guy who was open by about 4 or 5 yards. A throw that you would think he could make in his sleep, or at least when he's sleeping.
4th punt for Lee. Jackson sees it bounce at the 16 and out of bounds. With 3:06 to go, Titans going back on offense. 8 possessions so far in this game. We've seen 7 punts, but on the last Tennessee drive, Mariota and the Titans down the field into the end zone. Mariota is 6 for 10 to start this game for 55 yards. He'll start this drive at his own 11-yard line, throwing on 1st down. Mariota with a flag down. The pass is incomplete. He was looking for Delaney Walker. Antoine Bethea had the coverage, and this flag appears to be going against Arizona.
Defense, number 21. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Penalty on Patrick Peterson.
And so sometimes you get a jam at the line of scrimmage, and if you don't let go soon enough down there at the bottom, that's where you get called for holding. It's not like he has to hold him to run with him. And you see, he kind of just got tangled up with the jam, and I don't see the holding there, because holding is reaching out, grabbing, obstructing him. There was a jam at the line of scrimmage, and then he let go once he started to run down the field.
3 minutes to go. 3 timeouts for each team here in the 1st half. Here's Murray trying to get to the outside, and he's dragged down at the 16. Let's go back to that last drive where Tennessee had great field position to start off the poor punt, and they took advantage.
And they're a big physical team. You saw the soft hands by Delaney Walker, the soft hands by Eric Decker, and then the stiff arm by Derrick Henry. So a couple of little soft jabs and then a knockout punch for the touchdown.
Tennessee is still without its starting left tackle, Taylor Lewan, questionable to return with a back injury. Dennis Kelly remains at left tackle for the moment on 2nd and 10 with 2:20 to go 1st half. Low snap. Mariota fields it, but he goes down. And that's Chandler Jones. And with that sack, he now has the NFL lead, his 14th of the year. And Arizona has called a timeout with 2:06 to go. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Well, last week, Ben Jones, the center, had 2 very low snaps out of the shotgun and another one here on the previous play.
And it's so distracting for the quarterback to have to take your eyes off the targets that you want downfield, off the pass rush, and that up and under move with Chandler Jones. And I think that move is kind of like the old lasso move that we should get.
3rd and 17. They hand it off to DeMarco Murray, and he's tackled at the 15. That will take us to the 2-minute warning here. Arizona will have 2 timeouts, and they'll be getting the ball back after their defense does the job.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. And by Tostitos. Tostitos gives back to Salvation Army.
2-minute warning here in Arizona. Chandler Jones with his 14th sack of the year. Patrick Peterson is back deep to return the punt. A good one from Kern, driving Peterson back to the 28-yard line. And Peterson is tackled at the 31. Don't forget, coming up, Verizon halftime report with our guys back in New York. We'll have all the scores and highlights on the Verizon halftime report. It's still 3-0 Jacksonville in front of Seattle. Titans and Jaguars knotted at 8-4 atop the AFC South. Now, Bruce Arians has 2 timeouts to work with and 1:49 on the clock. His Cardinals only have 50 yards of offense here in the first half.
Tight end Jermaine Grimesson is on the side to help chip block right there.
Gabbert taking a shot for Fitzgerald, and his diving attempt comes up short. Had one-on-one coverage, but Fitzgerald could not get there.
Even though Larry Fitzgerald had a step on Logan Ryan, you can still throw this ball high and a little bit short because Larry can go vertical for it. Going horizontal, trying to lay out, that's tough. But if he had to go up and twist his body, I'm certain that Larry Fitzgerald would have been able to come down with that throw.
Second and 10. Quick pass is caught. And that is Foster making the catch and the run right to the chains. And they're going to say it is a first down. So first down and 10, and Arizona will go no huddle. 125 and counting. Gabbert to Fitzgerald, tackled immediately at the 45-yard line, and they hurry up to the line again, a gain of 4. Arizona has only scored 10 points in the final 2 minutes of the first half this year, tied for the 3rd fewest in the league. Looking for some here. Deep pass, a lot of contact, no flag. Jerron Brown, the intended target. Bryce McCain, the coverage for Tennessee.
And Jerron Brown was more interested in trying to draw a flag, flailing away at the defensive back who's running next to him, as opposed to just trying to get open, because he took an inside release, and on that go pattern, you'd much rather take that outside release so that the quarterback can throw the ball over your outside shoulder.
Bruce Arians, 6-1 in his career against the AFC South. His team in a 7-0 hole here late first half on 3rd and 6. Gabbert incomplete through the hands of Ricky Seals-Jones. And Arizona will have to punt. Their disappointing offensive day continues.
You had everything you wanted there. You have a big 6'5" receiver who jumps about 2 inches off the ground to try and elevate that because he feels like, I'm open. This ball should hit in the chest, and when it comes off the offensive line and it's a little high, the jump is a little too late to get to it.
Already the 5th punt of the day for Lee. Adoree Jackson back deep. Jackson has some room to run. Tackled at the 26-yard line. It appeared he was going to be hit as soon as he caught it, but he was able to break free. So all 3 timeouts for Tennessee to work with. 49 seconds on the clock. 49 seconds to go in the first half. Tennessee has the ball in all 3 timeouts. Let's see if they can get down the field, get into field goal range for Ryan Suckup. Quick pass, Mariota complete at the 30-yard line to Delaney Walker. They will get to the line quickly. Ball spotted at the 31.
At some point, you've got to throw the ball more than 5 or 6 yards down the field. So you got to take a shot up the seams if you're Marcus Mariota. That pass is caught for a first down by Rashard Matthews, and then Mike Mularkey calls one of his timeouts. So the clock is stopped with 25 seconds to go. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Garmin. Ryan Succup's season long is 52 yards. His career long is 54. So the Titans with the ball at their own 38-yard line need about 26 yards to get into range for Succup. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Flag is down. Mariota throws, and along the sideline it's caught by Davis. Let's see what the penalty marker is.
Holding. Offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
And that's the 4th time this year the center Jones has been flagged for holding.
You know, you brought 6 rushers, so now that offensive line, that center, has to be responsible for it. They tried to knock him off his block, and once they did that, he grabbed Dale Buchanan as he was going by him. So if he doesn't do that, Dale Buchanan runs straight to the quarterback.
Suckup hoping to get a chance on the Tennessee sideline, but now the ball is pushed back to the 28 with 17 seconds to go. Mariota to Matthews, and Matthews shoved out of bounds at the 38-yard line. It'll be second down and 10, but just 12 seconds remain.
The holding penalty put them kind of a little behind where they needed to be with only 17 seconds, now 12 seconds. You can still work the middle of the field if you're bold enough to try and do it, because you do have 2 timeouts, but you've seen everything has been on the sideline. That ball, even though it's thrown a little further down the field, on the sideline.
Mariota 9 for 13, 77 yards.
Here's Chandler Jones at the bottom.
Mariota looking for Davis. He's got him, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line with 6 seconds to go. A gain of 22 for Corey Davis. From here, a 58-yard field goal.
Got a high-low area. Tramon Williams down low, Bethea high. Don't worry about the low stuff. The low stuff is not going to beat you, so you got to squeeze that 2-deep zone if you're Tramon Williams and back up a little more and then come up and make the tackle if they dump the ball to DeMarco Murray.
That was the longest play of the game for either team. Now, can they get a couple extra yards to help out Suckup? Mariota throwing to Decker, and he was out of bounds with 2 seconds to go. Let's see if Malarkey attempts a 58-yarder. It would be a career long for Suckup.
Jay, you know where you'd want to kick it, the right hash or left half. Is this the best hash for Ryan Suckup?
Well, you're in a dome, so he's comfortable. He went back to 55 in warm-ups. Now keep an eye on number 21, Patrick Peterson. He's underneath the uprights to return this if it's short.
Suckup just 53% in his career from beyond 50 yards. This from 58. Kick on the way, and it is no good. Just short. Suckup thought he had it, and instead he's inches short.
And a small point that people don't realize, Patrick Peterson could not have gone up and blocked that, because you cannot jump back there to block it. He just has to wait if it's going to go over or if it's going to be short.
Another look at this kick from Suckup. Would have been his career long by 4 yards.
Hey fans, the Arizona Cardinals would like to congratulate the following.
And just a half yard shy for Suckup. We've reached the half. It's 7-0 Tennessee. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Halftime here in Arizona, and the Titans have a 7-0 lead on the Cardinals. Arizona will get the ball to start the second half. You see the stats. Not much there offensively for either team, especially Arizona. Back in the booth with James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalan. We heard from Jay Feely coming up. If you're a fantasy football guy, you hope you don't have any of these players so far.
You are a little disappointed, and we heard Mike Malarkey talk about it, that his offense has played in spurts. Well, we're waiting for a couple of those spurts. And for Bruce Arians, he knows that at receiver he's had some issues, and at running back he's had some issues. But he still believes in Larry Fitzgerald that he may be able to do something big in this ball game.
Blaine Gabbert, 7 of 14 for 56 yards in the first half. He will get the first crack at it here in the second half. Ryan Suckup came so close to that 58-yard field goal right before the half, but instead it's 7-0 as we start the second. Cardinals this year in the second half, a point differential of -89. Only the Colts are worse. As Foster is tackled at the 22, and we go down to Jay Feely.
Andrew, I talked to Mike Malarkey. I said, what did you do so well to get that much pressure in the first half? He said, we didn't do anything special. It was one-on-one battles. We have to be better on offense on third down. Bruce Arians, I said, Bruce, what can you do to fix the pressure? He said, well, we can't switch the players. We don't have anybody else. We got to win our one-on-one battles, handle the twist better. He said, our defense is playing their butts off. We got to help them out.
All right, Jay, let's see if they get Larry Fitzgerald more involved as well. Only 3 catches for 13 yards for Fitz. J.J. Nelson goes in motion, and they'll start this half on the ground with Williams, who is upended by Adoree Jackson. How about the Titans defense in that first half? 4 sacks, James Lofton.
You're going to look at the sacks, the result, but on the other end, there's great coverage. In the secondary, we saw Adoree Jackson coming up, making the tackle on that last play. So Logan Ryan, Adoree Jackson on the outside, they've been doing a great job. And even the linebackers, they haven't had to commit to stop the run, so there's not that gap that you'd normally find when you try and run your play-action passes.
And remember, Tennessee without Derek Morgan today. He's got a knee injury. He leads the team with 7.5 sacks on the year. Gabbert completes this one to Gresham. He gets away from Woodyard and then tackled from behind at the 31 by Jarrell Casey. It sets up 3rd and 4.
So if you're looking at the Arizona Cardinals and you're saying, okay, if we're throwing the ball, offensive threats, who are they? Obviously, Larry Fitzgerald, we all know who he is. But don't forget about Jermaine Gresham. You have a lot of tight ends on this roster, and he's really the veteran pass-catching tight end. He and Bruce Arians were having a little discussion toward the end of the first half about that fact, and they got him the ball there right away.
Call it 3rd and a long 2. Gabbert to Gresham for the first down, and Gresham still on his feet. There is a flag down, and Gresham is dragged down by Kevin Byard, but let's see what the penalty marker is down at the 32.
Gresham was held off the line of scrimmage, and he ran right through that hole.
Defense, number 37. That penalty is declined, result of the play, first down.
That's on Jonathan Cyprian, a gain of 21 for Gresham.
Boy, Gresham, if they have another play that they can dial up for him, go to him right now, because you've seen just with the run after the catch that there's some energy there that this team has sorely needed.
Longest play of the day for the Cardinals on offense. From Tennessee territory, it's Williams, and he gets a yard on the play. Now, during the first half, during one of the timeouts, Gresham and Bruce Arians having a little chat on the sideline, and it was a little heated there between the two.
You know, I think the fact that they had thrown Ricky Seals-Jones a couple of balls that might have been balls that they would have thrown Jermaine Gresham a month ago, he might have just been reminding Bruce Arians about that. And he's been able to live up to his word so far in the third quarter here.
Last 3 games coming in, Gresham only had 5 catches. Gabbert over the middle, caught by Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald inside the 25. And with that catch, Larry Fitzgerald has just passed Randy Moss for 3rd in NFL history.
And you can see the big celebration in the dance. Oh, okay, I say that tongue-in-cheek. Larry Fitzgerald got up, he threw that ball to the official on the sideline. The official threw it back in, maybe not realizing what had just occurred. And Larry Fitzgerald looks like he might have gotten bent the wrong way when he was trying to get loose on that play.
15,303 yards. They just acknowledged it on the scoreboard here at University of Phoenix Stadium. Gabbert is hit hard and sacked. Woodyard delivers the big blow, the 5th sack today by the Titans defense.
And when you have to be careful of where you hit a quarterback, you have that strike zone above the knees, below the shoulder. Woodyard, no hesitation here, drives right through him, takes the crown of the helmet out, comes in with the shoulder. Good, clean, very, very physical hit. But once again, really nice and clean. We talked to Brian Arakpo, and he said, I'm all for player safety. He said, but sometimes we just, we blank out. But we have to remember where you can hit the quarterback when he's in the pocket.
Arakpo said this offseason he's hoping to get more clarity on the strike zone for a quarterback. And now Arizona has called the timeout. Back in Arizona, where it's a disappointing homecoming for Titans left tackle Taylor Lewan. He is out for the rest of the game with a back injury. The Arizona native was so excited to come back to his home state and play today, but it's cut short because of a back injury. It was a Cardinals timeout, so they have 2 remaining. It's 2nd down and 18. Gabbard, pressure coming again. Gabbard escapes. Gabbard's got a lot of room, and Blaine Gabbard slides down close to the 15-yard line. A gain of 11, but let's go back to the big milestone that Larry Fitzgerald just recorded. There's now only 2 players who have more receiving yards in NFL history. Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, as Fitzgerald has passed Randy Moss. And for more on this, let's go down to Jay Feely.
If you've ever spent time around Larry, you know how special that relationship with is Randy Moss. He gave him his shoes, clothes, even let him use his car for prom. When he was around them with the Vikings, I talked to Randy. He said he does it the right way. His accomplishments are all earned.
3rd down and 7, and another sack for the Tennessee defense. Brian Arakpo brings down Gabbard, and out comes the kicker, Phil Dawson.
We had those 4 great receivers up there, and they've made a number of one-handed catches, but very rarely do you see a one-handed sack. And Brian Arakpo, being warding off the blocker with his left hand, reaches out with his right hand and pulls Blaine Gabbard down.
The Titans as a team now have 6 sacks today, and for the season, Arakpo has 6 sacks. Here's Dawson from 47 yards away. Trying to put Arizona on the board, and the kick is good. With 9:36 to go in the 3rd quarter, it's now a 4-point game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Haynes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Whole lot of number 11 jerseys in the stands here. Larry Fitzgerald. You heard Jay reference the relationship with Randy Moss. It dates back to Minnesota, where Fitzgerald grew up. He was a ball boy for the Vikings when Moss was on the team. And we met with Larry on Friday, and he said, Randy taught me the game. He always looked out for me, and that relationship means so much to Fitzgerald. Adoree Jackson is on the return, and he slips at the 25, and then brought down by Scooby Wright. Well, it's all about playoff spots. Next week, most of you will see Cincinnati and Minnesota, or the Jets take on New Orleans, and then a huge showdown in the Steel City when the AFC's top 2 teams, New England and Pittsburgh, battle for what will most likely determine top seed in the AFC. Also, the Titans take on the 49ers. JB, Phil, Coach Nate, and Boomer break down the playoff scenarios on the NFL Today next Sunday at 12 Eastern on CBS. So Tennessee without Taylor Lewan the rest of the way. Dennis Kelly remains the left tackle. 1st down and 10 from the 26. Mariota to Murray. And DeMarco Murray is hit at the 32 by Budda Baker. Let's see how Tennessee responds after the Arizona field goal with 9:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. Mariota 11 for 16. He's got 106 yards passing and 11 yards rushing.
Hey, watch him, Greg. Watch him.
Henry, not much room there, and he's a yard shy of a 1st down. Well, Chandler Jones having a big day so far, now has taken over the lead for sacks in the NFL, but also making a number of plays in the run game.
You know, everybody knows that he was formerly a New England Patriot. They couldn't keep him because of money. They bring him here, and he's been able to do everything and almost anything that they've asked him to do. He came in at 280 pounds. He's down to about 255. A lot of that Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and all that, the same thing his brother does. And he's in fantastic shape. Says his endurance up, and he says he can't wait till the 4th quarter rolls around.
3rd and 1. Henry, can it get to the edge? No. Knocked down by Dayon Buchanan. Carlos Dansby also doing a good job of containment, and the Cardinals defense holds on 3rd and 1.
Boy, just Dale Buchanan, he's on the far side, and he's watching the play as Chandler Jones is trying to chase it. And Dale Buchanan, nice job getting there for the tackle. And those bumps and bruises will get to you. Maybe they wear some hip pads. We used to wear hip pads back in the old days.
You know, with that offensive line, it's a big punt up the middle, and I don't know if they got there.
Your offense hadn't been doing the job, but your defense had, with the exception of the last drive where they gave up a field goal. So a little bit of a surprise by Steve Hoffman, the special teams coach, to say, hey, Coach Malarkey, can we fake it here?
Mike Malarkey rolls the dice, and this is going to come down to the measurement.
Straight up the middle. You're working the edges on this. You trap block somebody. Oh man!
And they get it. Eric Weems was able to move the chains.
And because it's a clump pile, you know, Eric Weems, who years ago, Eric Weems was one of the top return men. He's run back a punt for a touchdown, a kickoff for a touchdown. Been in the league since 2007 as a core special teams guy at a lot of different stops, and boy, he's lucky he didn't get stopped on that one.
Let's go down to Jay Feely.
You know, they had an 8-man front, Arizona did. Most of the time you'll check out of a fake.
Right.
Weems, a special teamer, kept churning his legs and got that first down, and you got to credit that second effort because he didn't have it at the beginning. But a gutsy call by Steve Hoffman and Mike Malarkey.
And now Bruce Arians has thrown a challenge flag. He wants to challenge the spot.
You don't win challenges unless you're going over a defined line, like a 1 yardage line, because like so many bodies were in there.
Arizona is challenging the rule of the field.
You're not going to see
first
anything.
down being met.
See where the ball is, right on that line. How much further does he get? He's pushing, 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 because he needs to get all the way up in this area right here. You can't tell for certain where he was, and is it the last spot? Because it looked like he was even further ahead than that. Then he got pushed back, and then he lunged forward again.
This is with the yellow line.
There's the yellow line. Push, push, push. See, that's short, but remember the yellow line is not as definite as what we'd like it to be, and that ball was placed right there where the yellow line is. Bruce Arians, it's a gamble, but it's a gamble that is worth losing a timeout over if you're Bruce Arians, because you get the ball in terrific field position, you get your offense out there, and it'd be a deflating blow for Tennessee.
Arians is 2 for 5 on challenges this year. It was Josh Bynes, who's played very well on defense of late for the injured Dayon Buchanan. Bynes making the special teams tackle for the Cardinals. Arizona's special teams has been under fire all season. Pro Football Focus has them ranked as the 4th worst special teams unit. They've had 4 kicks blocked. And even though it was only about a yard they gave up here, it could be another demerit for this Cardinals special teams unit.
What Jerome Bogert and New York have to decide is which surge gave Tennessee the most yardage. Was it the first surge? Was it the second surge? Because when we looked at the second surge looks like it might be short, but it's so hard to tell. Because I said, you know, I'm not even sure if they want to go off the yellow line or if they're just looking. Here's the all 22 again. You can see the marker at about the 36-yard line, which is where the ball has been placed. Where is he there? Got to have undisputed video evidence to overturn the call.
Quite a gamble by Malarkey. It's an Arizona offense that has done pretty much nothing all day. There's a lot of time left in this game. If they don't get this, the Cardinals are going to have the football on the Tennessee 35-yard line. Going to give him a short field.
It's interesting, if the Cardinals really believed that they had stopped him for the first down, the offense would be out there on the field right now. As opposed to putting your defense out there, you're kind of trying to send that message. Now the headsets are off.
After reviewing the play, the runner's progress was stopped short of the 36-yard line. We will put the ball at the 35.5-yard line and remeasure to see if he still met the line to gain.
Well, that half a yard, which is 18 inches, and they made it by about 6 inches. So if I'm doing my math, the next marking should be about a foot short as they remeasure.
Yeah, they do have to remeasure. The chain gang has already given a first down to Arizona and going the other direction, but they need to remeasure this with the new spot. You see, Arizona's already broken the huddle on offense. They're ready to go. And Jerome Bogert did say we need to remeasure.
Well, they should still have the marker because all they did was change the where this part of the marker is from one end to the other.
Back.
So all the offensive and defensive players need to step back now so that we can bring the chains in and remeasure. And what this does, it gives the crowd a chance to roar again. Yank, pull. There it is, short.
So it is short. Bruce Arians does not lose a timeout. A successful challenge for the Cardinals, and the gamble by Malarkey backfires as now Arizona takes over in great field position at the 35-yard line.
So aggressive on both ends, aggressive by Mike Malarkey going for the fake punt, and then aggressive on Bruce Arians challenging, the spot. And that goes to the guys who are upstairs in the booth, and also Bruce Arians down on the field who's right by that down and distance mark.
Best start today for an Arizona Cardinals drive with Kerwin Williams, the running back. He takes the handoff up the middle. He's got some room. Williams inside the 20 and tackled at the 18-yard line. Kevin Byard makes the stop, a gain of 18 for Kerwin Williams.
Boy, a huge gash. You get a great hole. You get linebackers stepping up, bodies on bodies. And Kerwin Williams, remember, 5'8", 198 pounds. He's small enough where you really don't see him if you're a linebacker or a safety and you're getting engulfed by a big offensive lineman.
Tennessee defense 14th in the NFL in red zone touchdowns. Gabbert incomplete, but a flag is down. Ricky Seals-Jones, the intended target. Cyprian on the coverage.
Holding. Defense, number 37. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You saw the official say, you put your arms around him. And Ricky Seals is coming out. Arms are around him. Seals-Jones, and he has that arm on each side of him, so when he goes to make the outbreak, you're holding him. You got to jam inside if you want to jam him.
In the first half, Arizona had 64 yards. This half, they had 66 yards midway through the third quarter. First and 10 from the 12-yard line. Williams, right side, cuts back at the 10. Tackled at the 9. Woodyard, Avery Williamson make the tackle.
You're trying to almost steal a play right down here and pop another big run like you had on the last one. But now this is Larry Fitzgerald area, and you have to locate him. Logan Ryan has been matching up against him and done a pretty good job so far. Logan Ryan is going to try and find him, work his way through the crowd. He's going to be one-on-one, but this bunch look with the 3 wide receivers is always tough on releases.
Gabbert completes it to Brown, and he's spun down inside the 5. First catch today by Jerron Brown and Dory Jackson on the tackle.
Get the releases, you get a nice clean throwing lane for Blaine Gabbert. He wanted the high-low that you work on in practice, you can work on in any area of the field. So send someone toward the back pylon, someone toward the front pylon, and how does the defense cover?
3rd down and 1. They need a yard to make it 1st and goal. It's Williams, and he's thrown for a loss. The Titans defense make a big play, and now decision time for Bruce Arians, and he is going to send out his field goal unit.
Just great penetration at the point of attack. You don't get any movement, you don't get any punch, and when you lose yardage on 3rd down, you're very reluctant to go for it on 4th down. If he had gained a little bit and then he was a half a yard short, then he'd think, well, we can get it. But when you get penetrated like that on 3rd down, all bets are off. You take the 3 points.
A 23-yard field goal attempt for Phil Dawson, now at the age of 42, and the kick is good. So the fake punt leads to 3 points for Arizona. It's a 7-6 game. Roof is open here in Arizona. Don't forget Thursday, Denver takes on Indianapolis. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. 4:44 to go in the 3rd quarter. At number 4, Phil Dawson boots it away after his field goal, makes it a 7-6 game. Here's Adoree Jackson, 1 yard out of his own end zone. Jackson out of bounds at the 27. Marcus Mariota goes back to work. And just an update from Jacksonville. It's still a 3-0 Jaguars lead. And there's former Jaguar quarterback Byron Leftwich, who's now the quarterback coach here in Arizona. Tennessee and Jacksonville meet week 17. As of now, that would be a huge game for the division. Both at 8 and 4. Cardinals jump. Murray gets a couple.
Outside, defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Xavier Williams, the 30-year man out of northern Iowa, called for the penalty.
Remember when Marcus Mariota was coming out of Oregon and all the question marks, could he play under center? Right there he's under center. Knows how to use the snap counter, use the little voice inflection, so nice plus for Marcus Mariota there. Let's listen in on him.
Play fake. Mariota throws on the run, completes it to Decker at midfield. Decker at the 40 and tackled at the 38-yard line. A 29-yard pickup for Eric Decker.
And Patrick Peterson is irate because he believes at the top of the snap he might have gotten pushed a little bit by Eric Decker. There's a little bit of hand fight. You can't quit in the middle of the play. You've got to be on the whole time. Yes, there's a little hand fighting, and Decker, big, strong, physical guy, he's going to gain some separation when he gets his hands on you. Is it legal? It's legal until they throw the flag.
Bad look for Peterson there. He's had a tough game. Season high 29-yard reception for Eric Decker. 3:30 to go 3rd quarter. Mariota looking for Delaney Walker. It's too high and incomplete.
That was good coverage by Budda Baker because they had the route that they wanted. They had 2 deep routes, an underneath crossing route by Delaney Walker, but Budda Baker underneath Delaney Walker, which forced the high throw where he had to throw it over the top of his head. Delaney Walker's crossing from left to right, and here's Budda Baker. That closing speed right there does not allow Marcus Mariota to fit that ball in to Delaney Walker.
Second and 10. Murray gets a yard on the play. Kareem Martin on the stop, and it's 3rd down. You mentioned Mariota playing at Oregon. He played a game in this stadium, the 2013 Fiesta Bowl, a win over Kansas State. Had 2 touchdown passes and a touchdown run in the win over K-State.
Boy, great job by the Arizona crowd. Tennessee was going to try and quick snap it. All of a sudden the crowd erupted and you couldn't hear if you were Tennessee, that they were trying to go fast because they had more than 11 guys on the field.
Mariota to Walker. Walker trying to fight for that first down. With forward progress, he's got it. Marcus Mariota told us yesterday Delaney Walker is a third down weapon. And that weapon just moved the chains for the Titans. A gain of 10.
Great job because he's in space, so he's separated. It's just a down and out. The same thing that you run at the family picnic in a couple of weeks. You run that down and out, hit you right on the numbers, and go over and you have a piece of peach pie after that.
Your family picnics are a little more athletic than mine. We're not running hook routes at our family picnics. 4 seconds on the play clock, inside 2 in the third quarter. Mariota, and it's picked off by Tramon Williams. Williams on the return, and he's tackled at the 16-yard line. Big mistake by Mariota, his 13th interception of the year.
Rashad Matthews is running a seam route up the inside into your numbers. He doesn't look inside, but the quarterback looks inside.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sonic. This is how you Sonic. And by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network.
Congratulations, you are representing.
Back in the desert where Marcus Mariota has thrown his career high 13th interception of the season. Second pick this year by Tramon Williams.
We're going up the field here, but at the end, Marcus Mariota expects him to come inside to run that route. You have to cross his face. You just always tell the receivers that you got to cross the defender's face. Can't go behind him.
First turnover by either team today as Gabbert throws to Fitzgerald on first down. And we're going to go back to New York, an NFL Today update with JB and Coach Cowher.
Jacksonville's offense contributing.
Yeah, after an A.J. Bouye interception of Russell Wilson, Blake Bortles finds D.D. Westbrook from 18 yards out. It's D.D. Westbrook's first NFL touchdown. Jacksonville leads 10-0 in the third.
9:09 and counting in the third. Andrew Catalon, James Lofton, and Jay Feely.
All right, guys, not an update Tennessee fans wanted to see as those two are tied atop the AFC South. It's Williams on 2nd and 2, and he's got the first down. Look at the remaining schedules for both the Titans and the Jaguars. Next week, Tennessee at San Francisco, rather. We'll be there in San Francisco, and then Tennessee finishes at home against the Rams and the Jaguars. Those two on a collision course for a Week 17 showdown.
You know what? When you're winning your ball game and you glance up and see your opponent is winning his game, you don't mind that so much because you're neck and neck in that race, and you realize what it's going to come down to, who's going to win that last lead in Week 17.
Final 30 seconds of the third quarter. Gabbert to Williams out of the backfield. Williams gets away and picks up a first down. Kerwin Williams gains 14. Williamson on the tackle, and that could be the final play of the third quarter.
Gabbert taking a look down the field. You get the check down from Williams right over the middle, and he does a great job in what coaches would say getting north and south right away.
And that's the end of the third quarter. A 1-point game. Titans 7, Cardinals 6. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the fourth quarter in Glendale, Arizona. The Titans first place in the AFC South hold a slim 7-6 lead on the Arizona Cardinals. First and 10 to start this quarter, and it's Elijah Penny with his first carry of the ball game up the middle for 8 yards.
You know, we looked at all those sacks that the Tennessee Titans were able to get early in the game, and you get those sacks because you're charging hard up the field. If you're charging hard up the field, you're not in those gaps getting ready to stop the run. So that's something that Bruce Arians has found that has been effective for the Arizona Cardinals in the second half.
Kerwin Williams getting a breather. Penny remains the running back. He scored his first NFL touchdown last week against the Rams, drafted out of Idaho. Play fake. Gabbert to a wide open Seals Jones, and he's got the first down inside the 30. Beautifully designed play for Bruce Arians and the Cardinals, a gain of 19.
And when we were talking to Blaine Gabbert yesterday, he said the run game will set up the passing attack. And we've seen some successful runs. You stick the ball in the belly of the running back, you pull it out, and you have a tight end running wide open up the seam, and all you have to do is stick it on his body.
Seals Jones began the year on the practice squad. He's made a big impact in the last 4 games with 3 touchdowns. Kerwin Williams back at running back. Nice moves inside the 25, and a flag flies from the secondary. And it's a hold against Arizona.
And that's a hold that's beyond the line of scrimmage, so it's not going to be 1st and 20. It's going to be a spot foul.
Offense, number 53. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
It's on the center, A.Q. Shipley, his second holding call of the year.
But A.Q. has worked up to that second level. You see him driving the linebacker. Sometimes when you block too well, you get a holding call. And I think that was the case with A.Q. Shipley right there.
Coming up after the game, time permitting, the State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cower back in New York. All the latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the State Farm postgame show.
Like I said, 1st and 15 because that holding call was down the field.
Gabbert caught by Jerron Brown, and he is tackled just inside the 25-yard line. A gain of 9 for Brown, the 5th-year man out of Clemson.
We always hear coaches talk about, wanting to get that quarterback in that rhythm early in the game. Well, there was no rhythm on either side of the game, but right now, you almost feel like the Arizona Cardinals had that rhythm with the play calling, with the runs, with the quick passes, getting the ball out of Gabbert's hands quickly. Find Larry Fitzgerald if you want success down here.
Williams on 2nd and 6, and he had some daylight up the middle. The tackle was made by Jarrell Casey from behind, and it's 3rd and short for Arizona.
There is very little hesitation when you give the ball to Kerwin Williams. You think the smallest guy on the field might be a little tentative when he's hitting the hole. It is just speed, downhill, as fast as I can go, and I'm not worried about who's going to hit me because just like a good defensive boxer, you don't get a real good clean shot on Kerwin Williams.
Williams out on 3rd and 3. DJ Foster checks in. Big play for the Cardinals. Gabbert pump fakes, throws, nearly intercepted. Bryce McCain got a hand on it. It's 4th and 3, and out comes the kicker, Phil Dawson.
I was talking about boxing a minute ago, and Bryce McCain, there was a lot of contact on that last play. If there had been a boxing official there, he would have told him to break the clinch because there was that much going on at the top of that route.
Dawson is 2 out of 2 so far today. This will be from 40 yards out. And it would give Arizona its first lead of the day. Kick on the way, and it's no good. Not even close for Phil Dawson. That's his 8th miss of the season. And it remains a 1-point Titans lead. 8th missed field goal this year by Phil Dawson. Jay Feely, what did you see on that kick?
Yeah, the struggles continue for Phil Dawson. Couple of blocks last week. He told me before the game that the pressure off the edge, what they've had all year because of the way their blocking scheme, doesn't allow him to feel comfortable following through. They almost blocked the last field goal, and you can see that he didn't follow through, and as a result, he pushes the ball. He said he's been doing that all year, and it's something they've tried to work on, but it has been a struggle special teams-wise. They brought Phil Dawson in to fix this problem, something that cost them multiple games last year, and it hasn't happened.
So Dawson hoping to get another chance in this ball game, but Tennessee returns on offense at the 30-yard line. First down and 10. Mariota 13 to 20, 145 yards and an interception. Marco Murray with the run on first down, and he picks up 3 yards. Murray 10 carries, 31 yards. As a team, Tennessee only has 62 yards rushing. They average 122, which is 7th best in the NFL. So credit to this Cardinals defense today.
It may be time for the Arizona Cardinals to think about specifically stopping the run. Now, as soon as I say that, they're probably going to drop back and pass, but they've got to stop the run. That's the key component to the Tennessee Titans offense.
Watch this.
Crowd making noise on 2nd and 6. Murray up the middle, and he's going to be about 4 yards shy of a first down.
You got to plug the gaps. You got to, if he's in the gun, you've got to worry about the quarterback read going around the weak side. So there's so much to account for with Marcus Mariota back in the shotgun.
3rd and 4. Tennessee 3 for 8 on 3rd downs. Mariota completes it, but short of the marker. Corey Davis made the catch, but right there is Tyrann Mathieu to make the tackle. A 3 and out by Tennessee.
When you can accelerate and explode through pass catchers and runners, you can play anywhere. And that's almost where he plays. He plays just about anywhere. And trying to touch the face mask a little bit. No flag.
Here's Brett Kern. Good punt by Kern with Peterson back deep. Peterson to his own 5-yard line. Peterson trying to turn the corner, and he's out of bounds at the 15. 9:59 to go. 7-6 Tennessee.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
Festive atmosphere here in Arizona with 9:59 to go, 4th quarter. Tennessee has a 7-6 lead as they try to stay atop the AFC South. It's a handoff to Chad Williams, and he's got some room, and he's got speed. Williams finally dragged down by Kevin Byard. 2nd carry of the season for Williams. It goes for 33 yards.
About 2 seasons ago, Bruce Arians asked Larry Fitzgerald to move inside so that he could become more of a blocker. That time, blocking right at the point of attack, standing about 2 yards away from the offensive tackle. That's the run starter right there. Larry Fitzgerald on Logan Ryan, and Williams around the corner and off to the races.
3rd round pick out of Grambling in the 2017 draft. 1st and 10. Here's Kerwin Williams into Tennessee territory and tripped up at the 44. Back to New York. An NFL Today update. Here's JB and Bill Cowher.
Back and forth, Bill.
Yeah, after 10-10 score right here, first play after the kickoff. Keelan Cole, 75 yards from Blake Bortles, his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. And now Jacksonville takes the lead 17-10.
Back to Andrew Catalon, James Lofton.
Gotta love the NFL. Keelan Cole from Kentucky Wesleyan. We just saw Chad Williams from Grambling. A lot of guys from small schools making a big impact in the NFL. Williams cannot get past Logan Ryan, but he does get a first down with 8:40 to go. 2008 is the last time the Titans made the playoffs. 6th longest active drought in the NFL. 4th longest in the AFC. And you see Jacksonville on that list as well. And how about the win by Buffalo in the snow in overtime today against the Indianapolis Colts? What a scene.
Expected to see some like little dogs out on the field at some point. There was so much snow.
Gabbert to the air on 1st down, looking for Fitzgerald, and a penalty flag is down. Logan Ryan had the coverage, and wait a minute, yeah, he is going to be called for the hold. At first, the official signaled it was on Larry Fitzgerald.
Holding. Defense, number 26. 5-yard penalty, first down.
A little bit of a double move with that stutter at the line of scrimmage, and then when he went to try and go by him, Larry Fitzgerald is so big, so strong, that when you jam him, he doesn't stop. He continues to move forward and through your arms, and when you carry those arms around, you're gonna end up holding him. So Good call by the officiating crew and a nice job taking the shot by Bruce Arians and the offensive staff.
In the first half, the Cardinals averaged 2.4 yards per play. Here in the second half, 8.3 yards per play. They got it going in a good little groove right here. And here's Elijah Penny with plenty of room to run inside the 20. Jayon Brown makes the stop, but the Cardinals are on the move.
Talked about that rhythm, hitting them with plays, some inside, some outside. You saw the fly sweep. This is an extension of the fly sweep. It's just a swing pass, but the linebacker who's waiting for the run inside has to run all the way to the boundary to try and make this play.
Penny, undrafted out of Idaho, spent almost all of last year on the Arizona practice squad. He's made a big impact here in the second half. Cardinals in the red zone on 1st and 10. Kerwin Williams. And Williams still on his feet to the 14-yard line. Another tackle for the rookie Brown out of UCLA. Don't forget, coming up, time permitting, the State Farm postgame show with our guys back in New York. Scores and highlights from Week 14 in the NFL. Blaine Gabbert today, 16-24. And he's hit on 9 of his last 10. Also has not turned the football over. He had 2 interceptions last week in the loss against the Rams. Williams stopped at the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down. 6:45 to go.
So you've got a decision here. You're down in the red zone. Obviously, you're in field goal range. You're lined up for what would be an easy 3-pointer. But on this play, do you throw the ball to the end zone? So if you do, you're right around that 15-yard line. That means you have 25 yards of field position to work with. Bruce Arians has walked all the way down the sideline. I think he's about to use a timeout so that they can discuss their options a little more.
I don't know, easy 3-pointer. It wasn't too easy on the last attempt for Phil Dawson.
I'm just trying to give him some confidence. When he sees Jay Feely standing on the sideline, he's thinking, there's a guy who's younger than me that they might pick up, take my place.
So Arizona does call timeout. They only have 1 remaining. You remember in the 3rd quarter, after Gabbert took a big hit, they called timeout. This was the last field goal attempt by Dawson from 40 yards out. Well right.
Like Jay chronicled, he just kind of blocked this to the right. Anybody who's ever golfed and you think you're going to hit it straight down the fairway and all of a sudden it's over in the woods or even worse, out in the water to the right, you block it. You don't follow through, and that rush off the edge doesn't allow him to really swing his leg through. Jay's a good golfer. He's never hit one off the fairway, though.
No, I'm always right down the middle, but Phil Dawson is one of the best kickers in NFL history. He'll be able to overcome that miss. It won't have an impact on this next kick at all.
Of course, Arizona hoping it doesn't come to that. Looking to convert on 3rd and 6. They're 3 for 11 on 3rd downs today. Gabbert in the shotgun. Gabbert looking end zone. Fitzgerald incomplete. Fitzgerald had some separation, but Gabbert's pass a little bit off the mark, and out comes Phil Dawson.
I like the aggressiveness. This is exactly what Bruce Arians is, and that little stutter move that he made him move inside. He jumped him because he's so big. If he does go inside, you're going to give him a sure touchdown. So Logan Ryan has to jump inside. And remember, a couple of plays ago, he reached out and held him, so he couldn't even get his hands on him that time. They just missed right there.
Here's a 32-yard field goal attempt for Dawson to give Arizona the lead, and he drills it. With 5:59 to go, the Cardinals have their first lead of the day. Blaine Gabbert could not connect with Larry Fitzgerald in the end zone, but the field goal by Phil Dawson gives Arizona a 2-point lead. 8 plays, 71 yards. With 5:59 to go, and Dawson will kick it away to Adoree Jackson back deep. With Hall of Famer James Lofton and former Cardinals kicker Jay Feely, the entire NFL on CBS crew, I'm Andrew Catalan. And this will be a touchback for Dawson. Don't forget, coming up next week, huge game in the NFL, especially for seeding in the AFC as the Patriots and Steelers get together next week, 4:25 Eastern on CBS. Familiar territory here for Tennessee. A lot of close games this year, and they've had a lot of success. Mariota, 5-0 in one-possession games, 3 fourth-quarter comebacks, and 4 game-winning drives. Does he have another one in him here? Down by 2 with all 3 timeouts. Play fake. Mariota with time. Intercepted by Bynes. Bynes on the return at the 25. And Bynes knocked out inside the 20 and a late flag. Josh Bynes, his first interception as a Cardinal.
When your play-action passing game revolves around a 2-man route, you don't have a lot of other deception.
After the interception, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense, number 67, late hit out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal. First time.
You get a little frustration there, but for Marcus Mariota, just 2 men really out in the route. You can see Decker streaming down the field, and then Delaney Walker, who is his chosen guy that he's trying to go to after Decker clears out for him. But a nice drop by Bynes right in the middle of the field. He didn't see him.
And here's the late hit by Quinton Spain, the left guard. Tacking on the extra yardage, brings the ball all the way down to the 7-yard line for Arizona, where it's 1st and goal. And a rough season continues for Mariota. Now has 14 interceptions on the year. Let's see if the Cardinals can convert. Hand it off, and it's Penny to the 5. Back to New York, NFL Today update, JB and Coach Cowher.
Special teams contribution.
Yeah, more bad news you're going to see right here for Tennessee. Jacksonville's going to take this punt return. Jaden Nickens, 72 yards. It was set up a Leonard Fournette 1-yard touchdown run, and Jacksonville leads Seattle 24-10.
Andrew, James, and Jay.
Oh, what a swing in the AFC South. The interception by Mariota, the big punt return. Jacksonville looking good at home against Seattle. See if the Titans D can hold Arizona to 3. 2nd and goal. Gabbert, pressure coming, and he's sacked. Jarrell Casey with the sack. That's the 7th today by the Titans defense.
And remember, Casey had the big one early in the game. He went out, he had his arm taped up after that. This drive, it's essential that Tennessee limits Arizona to a field goal attempt, because if you tack on a touchdown with under 5 minutes to play as this clock continues to tick down, that hill would be too steep for Tennessee to climb with the way that they played offensively so far in this ballgame.
Arizona's been bad on goal to go this year, 2nd worst in the NFL, scoring touchdowns at a 46% clip. It's a screen to Foster, and again, Arizona in a goal to go cannot find the end zone. Jayon Brown makes the stop, and out comes Phil Dawson to attempt another field goal.
Couple things if you're on the Tennessee Titans and you're lining up to try and block this kick. If you are one of the outside guys and you think, oh, well, it's 4th and goal, and I can maybe come around the edge a little faster, make sure that you're going for the block point, that you're not going at the kicker. So, because if you run in and rough the kicker, that's going to be a 1st down.
Dawson has had 4 kicks blocked this year from 35 yards away. This one is good. So the interception by Mariota leads to 3 points. It's now a 5-point Arizona lead with 3:45 to go. Let's go back to that interception by Mariota.
Well, you're trying to clear out with Decker going that way, and across the field is Delaney Walker, and there's your spy in the middle of the field. He doesn't have anybody to cover. He's just dropping back. He's the extra guy in man-to-man coverage, and he's kind of like, some people call him a plugger. He plugs up the middle. Marcus Mariota did not read that. And when you do make the play-action fake, your eyes leave the defense just for that one instant, and then they come back to the defense, and you got to take it all in quickly.
We met with Delaney Walker yesterday, and he said there is a belief on our sideline in close games that we will find a way to win. He said in years past, we didn't have that, but our identity this season is that we're not going to give up. Well, they're tested here. They have all 3 timeouts, but they trail Phil Dawson and the Cardinals by 5. Jackson will take a knee. So Marcus Mariota goes back to work with 3:45 to go. This half, Mariota is 4 for 7 for 48 yards and 2 interceptions.
Mike Mularkey, when we met with him in those meetings, we were meeting with the players, and it's kind of a casual setting. He said our offense has had spurts at the right time. Well, if you're a Tennessee Titan fan or a player, this is the right time for your offense to have one of those spurts.
Mariota all day, and it's dropped over the middle. Looked like Eric Decker slipped as he went to make the catch. It's 2nd down.
I think when Marcus Mariota takes that ball in the shotgun, that he really stands pretty flat-footed. Sometimes you can take that pass in the shotgun and back up for a couple of steps, just like you would if you were dropping back from center. But he's so flat-footed that he doesn't have his footwork. And he talked about he had gotten away from his footwork a little bit, and that time flat-footed and a bad throw to an open receiver.
Derrick Henry leads the NFL in 4th quarter rushing yards. He's on the sideline right now as Mariota completes that one for a short gain. It's Corey Davis that makes the grab, but it's 3rd down.
You've got to win this through the air, and I think that we are actually pretty close, even though they have 3 timeouts, to 4-down territory if you're starting to look at it. You punt the ball away here, and it's a real gamble for whether or not you can get it back.
The Titans ran to the line and then backed off as Mariota is calling out a play. It's loud here in Glendale. Mariota to his main man, Delaney Walker. Another 3rd down catch for Walker. Another Tennessee 1st down. A gain of 7. And the Titans will stick with the no huddle.
Now, they're not in a rush, but they are in a hurry. You'd like to get this play snap before that play clock really eclipses 20 seconds, because you want another play before the 2-minute warning.
Mariota sideline, and it's incomplete. Tramon Williams made a great break on that pass. It was intended for Rashard Matthews.
You've got fearless corners on the outside. You got Patrick Peterson on one side, Tramon Williams, who's an 11th year veteran, starred with the Green Bay Packers, has 32 career interceptions, so he's not afraid, and he can read a comeback pretty early. He could feel that receiver starting to decelerate, and he drove on the ball just as well as the offensive player did. Play clock is ticking down on him at 5.
2nd and 10. Pressure coming. Mariota spins away. Flag is down. Can't get away this time. Hassan Reddick brings down Mariota for a loss of 9 as we await the penalty from Jerome Boger. And it's against Tennessee.
Holding, offense, number 78. That penalty decline. 3rd down.
Another hold on Jack Conklin. He had one in the 1st half as well that negated a 54-yard run.
We've seen a lot of sacks in this ball game from both sides. You get the good pass rush where you no longer have Taylor Lewan playing. You have Dennis Kelly trying to block Chandler Jones one-on-one. That may be a little bit above his pay grade.
Lewan out for the rest of the game with a back injury suffered in the 1st half. And now the officials blow this play dead before Mariota could take the snap. There is Lewan, the Arizona native.
Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 12 seconds. In the last 5 minutes of the 4th quarter, the game clock should not have started after the foul. 2 minutes, 12 minutes on the clock, please.
All right, so 2:12 on the clock. Big 3rd down and 18 for the Titans. And it's really interesting, James. You said maybe 4-down territory. You do have 3 timeouts. You do have the 2-minute warning. But I think Tennessee, from a play calling perspective, has to be thinking maybe cut this in half and then have Mike Mularkey make the decision on fourth down.
If you can get 4th and 6 or less, I would be inclined to go for it on 4th down if I were the head coach, but perhaps that's why I'm standing up here.
Third and long, Mariota in trouble, and it's incomplete. Just flicked it out of his hand in the direction of DeMarco Murray. Chandler Jones coming with the pressure. It's 4th and long, and in this situation, Mike Mularkey will send out his punter, Brett Kern.
We all know that Tennessee is a great run blocking team. They have success in their play action passing game, but when it comes to a straight drop back, it's tough to block a pass rush that has no regard for your run game at that instance.
Kern punting to Britton Golden from his own 15. Golden out to the 25-yard line, and that is the 2-minute warning. Tennessee down 5. They have all 3 timeouts.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Here to help life go right. And by Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart.
Two minutes to go in Arizona. The Titans tied for first place in the AFC South. That is in danger as they trail by 5, and Jacksonville is leading Seattle at home. 3 timeouts for the Titans. They've got to get a stop here. Williams on first down. And a good start to this drive by Tennessee. Mike Mularkey immediately calls timeout with 1:55 to go.
The one concern that you have as a defensive unit as you're trying to stop the run, you crowd at the line of scrimmage, is them popping a run past the line of scrimmage and getting big yardage.
Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and the man brave enough to challenge Vladimir Putin, followed by new episodes of Wisdom of the Crowd, NCIS Los Angeles, and Madam Secretary. Tonight, only CBS. Mike Mularkey's team has won 6 of their last 7. Trying to keep the momentum going and see if the defense can give the ball back to the offense with one last chance. 2nd down and 11. Williams remains the running back. He gets the call. Williams up the middle. And he picks up a couple on the play. Jonathan Cyprien on the tackle. And Mike Mularkey calls his 2nd timeout. 1 remaining for the Titans.
That's about as good as you can do stopping the run, those 2 plays, because in both those plays, the Arizona Cardinals tried to run counters. And a counter takes a little more time to develop than a straight dive play or a straight toss, because you start with one step in one direction, you come back in the other direction. But nice job by Tennessee, and just like holding those to almost no gain and only 11 seconds off the play clock.
Third down and 8. Will they run it again, or will Gabbert put it to the air? Play fake. Gabbert rolling right, chased by Walden. Gabbert slides down inbounds, which was a smart play. It forces the Titans to call their final timeout, but Tennessee will get the ball back.
Had Larry Fitzgerald out there in the open, but you didn't have a chance to complete it. Unless it's a sure completion, Blaine Gabbert had been told to do exactly what he did to make sure that he stayed in bounds and made them use their final timeout. Once again, if I am the Tennessee Titans, I have 2 punt returners back because I do not want this ball to hit the ground and for my punt returner not to be able to at least catch it or fair catch it.
They only have 1 back. It's Adoree Jackson. Very dangerous. The rookie out of USC had 4 punt return touchdowns with the Trojans. He's awaiting the kick from Andy Lee at his own 25. Jackson, a running start, now lets it bounce. And he scoops it up at the 23. Jackson, nowhere to go, bottled up by the special teams unit of the Cardinals. Elijah Penny limits Jackson to no yards on the return, a 53-yard punt. As we check in with Jay Feely.
Well, that's just a rookie mistake. You have to understand the situation. Run up as soon as you see the ball and the nose isn't turning over. It has to be a fair catch. You have to come up, make that play, cost him 15-plus yards in field position.
Jay, I think it's more of a proclamation against the special teams coach. You put two guys back. You don't allow that ball, if it's short, to hit the ground because you don't have anyone there to field it.
And if you have a veteran to put in there in that situation, but you want the big play in Adoree Jackson.
Mariota on first down, and it's too high. Intended for Corey Davis, incomplete. We met with Marcus Mariota yesterday. He was very candid with us about his struggles this season. Quote, "I haven't played great. I have to do a better job of holding up my end of the bargain. I have to take care of the football better. It's not misreads, it's mechanics. I've been throwing off my back foot. I want to get it right." He's got a chance here, even though it's been a disappointing game with 2 interceptions.
Well, he's not going to throw down at the bottom against Patrick Peterson.
Throws up top, he's got a man there, and the catch
came out when he hit the ground.
Not good, incomplete. Now there's some discussion, and it's incomplete. Delaney Walker nearly brought that one in at midfield.
I mean, he makes a great attempt. It's against Tyrann Mathieu. He's running up the sideline, makes the adjustment to the ball, hits the ground, and the ball pops out. Years ago, that would have been a completion, but we all realize you have to complete the process of the catch as you're going to the ground.
Four straight incompletions for Marcus Mariota. And now it's 3rd down and 10. Mariota to Walker, incomplete. Walker had it, took a big hit, and could not hold on. Tramon Williams with the big stick, and it's 4th and 10, and Walker is a little slow to get up.
And understanding where the offense is trying to get to that first down marker. You had 2 receivers who were kind of running off, and Tramon Williams, who's in that deep 3rd zone, isn't going to give you the easy, clean reception. He's going to come up and put his shoulder pad right in the ribs of Delaney Walker.
And Mariota looks for Walker in clutch situations. Doesn't have him here. 4th down and 10. Tennessee has to get the first or the game's over. Mariota, incomplete, and a flag comes in late. The pass was intended for Adoree Jackson. Flag comes in from the secondary.
Pass interference. Offense, number 81. That penalty's declined. The ball goes over on down. First down.
And that will do it. Jonnu Smith, the rookie tight end who came in for Delaney Walker, called for the penalty.
Jonnu Smith is trying to run through that area because he realizes that Adoree Jackson is trying to run the underneath route, so he's trying to use him as a pick, as a foil, to try and get the first down. See James Betcher, I didn't know he had that much of a vertical.
3rd year as the Cardinals defensive coordinator. What a job they did today, holding Tennessee to 204 yards of offense.
They never let Tennessee's run game get in gear. Put the onus on Marcus Mariota to throw it and throw it from the pocket. Not able to do it today.
Only 65 yards rushing for the Titans. They average 122 per game. And Bruce Arians, he pointed it out to us in our meeting on Friday. He said, I haven't lost 2 in a row at home in this building, and I don't plan on that happening against Tennessee. They lost last week to the Rams, but now following a loss, Bruce Arians is 19-7, the best win percentage of any active coach. Let's update the playoff picture. Jacksonville has a 24-10 lead early 4th quarter. But Tennessee going down to 8-5, and if the Jaguars hold on, they would be the number 3 seed in the AFC playoffs.
Well, the Chargers are winning in their ball game. And you can look at all these games on paper, but they're not played on paper. You would have thought that Jacksonville would have had a tougher time up against Seattle, but they're handling their business.
Huge day for Larry Fitzgerald as well, moving into 3rd place all time in receiving yards. 12-7 the final. Cardinals win. For James Lofton and Jay Feely, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from Glendale. Tonight on CBS at 60 Minutes, followed by Wisdom of the Crowd, NCIS Los Angeles, and Madam Secretary. You have been watching the NFL on CBS.